Welcome everybody to another edition of Let's Talk Music Richmond, and we've got a special guest today, one of the greatest music industry icons the city of Richmond has ever had. And I'm going to let my partner in crime over here introduce him, because they go a little bit further back than he and I go back, but all of us go way back like a Cadillac seat. So, Brother Charles, man, my co-host of Let's Talk Music Richmond, I'm going to throw the ball to you.
All righty, my friend. You know, it warms my heart to have this opportunity to speak to this guy, because I've known him since I first got into playing music back in my ESP days and Brother Love days and all Eugene and all that history. I've known this gentleman. I know the struggle that he and I both went through. I'm representing my band, and he trying to promote events. And so it warms my heart to just have this opportunity 40 years later, and some might even say 50 years later, to sit down here and have a conversation with the great Mr. Hosea Fox. Welcome to the program, Jose.
Hey, glad to be with you guys, man. Been a long time, but hey, summer's still around, and thank the Lord I'm still here and y'all still here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We have lost any number of people over the years in this music thing. And as Bill explained earlier, we've been talking about it for quite some time with each other about every time we get that phone call, you know, you get that phone call. I'm down here in Dallas, Texas. And so when I get that phone call from Richmond, I don't know what to expect. Whose name is going to be on that list, you know?
Wow.
And as he mentioned, I was just speaking with Carlton Mills less than a week before he passed, and Carlton kept telling me, he said, you know, you need to talk to so-and-so and so, and let's talk to so-and-so and so, and maybe you can round up this person or that person. And he was just giving me a bunch of names that maybe I should get around to speaking to about this project. And, of course, you know your name was on the list. But
his name was first on the list.
Oh, his name was top of the list for sure. Bill called me to tell me that Carlton had passed. And so it was time to move on this. Jose, during the time that you and I were doing business in the 70s, there were other promoters out at the time, and you were the young guy coming up.
Yeah.
And some of those guys, let's do some names. Frank Webb, lawyer.
The lawyer.
The lawyer.
Yep.
Johnny Wallace.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Winston.
You got him. Yeah, Bobby Highsmith, you got Alan Knight, you got all of them, man.
Give us a rundown as to what the order was that you remember coming up.
Quite frankly, Alan Knight was the main. You know, he got started before a lot of the guys did. Alan Knight and David Cooper. Yeah, those guys were out there. But Jimmy Winston, he was running the Sahara Club for, I can't think of the guy's name he run it for, but he was the first person that bought Glass Night here, Temptation and all those people over at the Sahara Club. That was the main place to go to before Martin Luther King got killed. Once Martin Luther King went down, it was all over it. I mean,
as I recall, prior to Martin Luther King assassination, the Sahara Club tend to have integrated crowds every weekend.
Sahara Club and Market Inn night.
And Market Inn, yes.
Where was the Market Inn?
Market Inn.
Northside, by the water tower, by John Marshall High School area.
Yeah, that was Market Inn. That was really Red Fox place. Come to all those people who going over there. Everybody you can name was there. James Brown, all those guys out there. You know what I mean? It was I mean,
did they tear the building down, or just become something else?
They tore it down. It's gone now.
Oh, okay.
Tore it down and build up. You know, but those were some places to go to. And then you had Night Lane at the corner of Second and Marshall. That's where, in that parking lot is still there where the club used to be at. And Al Knight gave a dance there, and my wife's sister went to that dance, and they left that dance and went into Charles City, and it's called Death Curve. And they had one of the baddest accent in the world down there, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of rough, but Sucker and Marshall, there's a lot right there on that corner when they do the festival, Sucker Free Festival.
Oh yeah, right there. Okay, right there next to where Charles Chambers used to have his office and the record store used to be there.
There you go.
And then right there next to that is a lot. Yeah.
That lot right there.
Right.
Who are some of the other promoters you recall from that 60s and early 70s?
Well, I mean, there weren't many, not around Richmond. We don't name most of the ones here in Richmond, but you got to look at Teddy Powell. He was a godfather. He came out of Philadelphia. He was a godfather of everything. He got me really. He didn't get me started, but the first major concert that we did, 70,000 people.
Phew.
Teddy Powell was the guy that got the axe, and I did all the promotion for it. And
Was it the fairground?
Yeah, that was my first real big show, and I didn't have the knowledge to know what I was doing. I didn't know. I was happy to be there and get whatever I got, but
Jose was the young guy with young ideas and new ideas. He had a connection with a lot of the bands that the other promoters did not really have. They didn't have a relationship.
Right. Well, now that's interesting, Charles, that you said that, because I told Jose the story Joe Jefferson had shared with me about how he ended up in Philadelphia because the Manhattans and the Delphonics were at the Sahara Club. The drummer for the Manhattans got sick, and Jose knew that Joe Jefferson was in the house, and they called for little Joe to come up to the stage. And Joe played for the Manhattans that night.
I was there that night, yes.
And that just set off a whole series of incidents. So let me go back to what else I told Jose. And this is Jose, the accolade. I'm going to repeat it on tape.
Go for it.
So we get it. I told Jose that the one thing I know about him is if you were a halfway decent musician in town, Jose knew you. He knew all the cats who he might want to book, or who might have a decent band, like he was mentioning Charisma, and I told him we talked to Percy Minor the other day. And
Jose, Rendezvous East, Rendezvous West, Railroad Club.
Good God.
All those ring a bell with you?
You know it does. Yes, sir. Those were the spots, man. There's so many clubs of us around, And then I had the Pink Garter.
The Pink Garter.
Yeah, I had Night Lane.
It was a club upstairs, I recall, and it was on a corner. I don't recall. It was almost.
Yeah. The building is still right there, right today. Was that a
But my band ESP, we used to play there a lot, and I cannot think of the name of that place.
I don't know if it was a Mason Lodge or not, because I think my wife brother was involved in it. And you come to the side step and go up there.
Right, the side step. That's right.
Yeah. That building is still right on that corner. It's still there.
Railroad Club.
Railroad
Another
Club.
upstairs joint. Gregory Ballroom. Another upstairs joint. 10 West Lee. Another upstairs joint.
That's right. Go ahead, what?
Hey.
when we start talking this stuff, man, people start remembering stuff they ain't thought about in years.
Man,
Jose, now I got something for you. When we first met, I was living on Mechanicsville Pike.
Around here, go up step.
Right next door to the Purple Pit. You were working construction for a company across the street on the apartment buildings over there.
That's where I was working at.
And one day, Jose fell off the roof.
That's right.
And when he came down, he told me, I quit. I am never going to do this again. I'm in the promotion business. I said, oh, promotion business, huh? And he just strutted off. And I never forget that.
Jose, one of the things we ask people is, how did you get started in the entertainment industry, music industry?
Well, what happened when the Coliseum on the corner first and Clay was put together, I used to go there and I used to work there. And I had my magnetism was so great that people would come there with acts for me. And a boy named Lil Henry, he got jealous because everybody came there was acts for me. And then I seen these guys hustling, selling liquor to people. So I said, well, that's another way to make money also. And the guys just come over my house and I would keep giving them ideas on how to do things. And my wife at that time said, well, if you give them ideas, why don't you go ahead and do one yourself? And that's when I came up with my first event, Interpretation of the Stars.
Oh, wow.
Interpretation of the Stars.
Yeah, Interpretation of the Stars. That's when I had
Sterling?
Yeah, Sterling. I had I can't net was Jane Brown. I had Major Harris and Janet. They were Tammy Terrell, and man, it was. I did 1,700 people on a Monday night. Yeah, from that Monday night up until this date, I have never looked back. I didn't.
Whoa!
I didn't work for nobody else. I didn't do anything. All those ideas I had, I started using them for myself, and I just kept going on, kept going on.
1,700 people on a Monday night, and you weren't charging but $3 a head.
Oh man, won't charge nothing hard.
Boy, don't you know $2 or $3 was a lot of money at that time?
Wow, especially multiplied by 1,700. Look, but Jose, you still dodge my question. I need to know how you got started in music, not as a promoter. I heard something about you used to be in a singing group.
Well, yeah. I used to be in a singing group we call the Fox's family, and that was me, my two sisters, and my daddy.
Wow.
We was kicking butt, and then Mega Ingham and them came from North Carolina and shook up Richmond. They shook up Richmond with their singing, and then it came between a battle between Mega, the Foxes, and the Wright family. And we all be out there battling against each other and singing. I mean, I came behind most of everybody, but I just jumped into it running. I guess I was lucky. I was working harder than they was.
So where did you go to school, Jose?
I went to school. I went to Armstrong High School, and I came out of school in the 6th grade because my father worked at the SPCA, and the tank that they put dogs in, it blew up. And my mom pulled me out of school to help take care of my family. So the money they shining shoes and stuff at the John Marsh Hotel helped send my two sisters and them to college.
Do you know what year that was when you stopped?
No.
Now, were you at the Armstrong on Lee Street or the Armstrong on 31st?
The 31st Street.
Okay.
The new one, you know.
You're a self-made man, and there are a lot of people that we know from that generation who had to do something similar to what you did. Last person we talked to, I think it was Little Tommy or somebody, right?
Little Tommy, right.
One of the last people we talked to had the same situation because a lot of people don't realize those were some tough times.
You better believe it.
And if you had a lot of brothers and sisters, there was a lot of mouths to feed because $2 was a lot of money in those days.
Yeah.
Trust me. I used to buy a gallon of milk for a quarter. A gallon of gas was 19 cents.
That's right, baby.
You know?
You're right.
That was when I was in high school. Gallon of gas was 19 cents.
19 cents a gallon.
So, Jose, okay, so did you ever participate in the band or the choir or anything like that before you came out of school?
No. Well, I sung with the family, with the family.
Right. Early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
When I talked about the Jarmels, did you start coming out around the same time they did in the early 60s?
I worked for August Moon. He had a record shop right there next to the Anson Grill. He had it going on.
He had all kind of things operating at that time. Quite a busy guy. Again, my first encounter with Moon was at Sahara Club. When I first met him, by that time he was managing Little Tommy, and Tommy had out the record. I think it was called I'm Hurt. I think it was called.
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm hurt.
Yeah, Moon had Patti LaBelle and all of them. They used to stay at the hotel on the corner of 3rd and what is that? that 3rd and Jackson Street. They used to have a hotel right there, right where the Club 500 is on that corner.
On that corner, right. Eggleston Hotel, I think it's called. Eggleston, I think, wasn't it?
No, that's not. The Eggleston was on 2nd Street. This is another hotel right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that one too.
Yeah.
So Jose, so there's one other question we always try to ask.
Go for it.
And then we'll go back and tie in some of the things. I'm trying to keep to the strip because Charles said he and I tend to venture off the strip a little too much.
We do.
So here's the other question we got to ask. Jose, name one thing that you have done in your music career that stands out above everything else.
About your life in the promotion business.
Jesus Christ. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye. It was Marvin Gaye and Luther Vandross in North Virginia. We all went down there together.
And you promoting the show?
No.
Oh, you were just hanging out with Marvin Gaye and Luther?
Yeah. My partner had him. I went down there and everything, man, it was beautiful.
Just got to hang out with Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, you would have to know. You would have to meet and know Marvin Gaye to really appreciate the man. I mean, but he had problems. I guess everybody had a problem back then, but he had a serious problem. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think that problem may have took him out of here. But anyhow, he had problems.
That has had to have been a profound experience because considering all the things that you have done.
Yep.
I wouldn't say hanging out with Marvin Gaye I would not have guessed that, especially because you had to give James Brown money to get from Norfolk.
Yeah. That was a thriller.
And that was an education, I'm sure.
And that happened at Night Lane when he came. Al Knight bought him here from North Carolina, I think it was, and he performed at Night Lane, and Night and them didn't pay him the money he supposed to gotten. And by me being who I was and getting to know people, and he would tell me what had happened, and I had some money on me, and I felt real sorry for him. I said, well, here, I can't remember the amount of money I gave him. He said, I'm going to pay you back. He said, I'm going to New York, and I get this deal. He said, I'm going to pay you back, which I never get my money back, but that's okay, you know. But I never forgot that neither, you know. But I got pictures of him and his wife around here somewhere now. Him and Mary Fox, you know.
Tell me about Jamaica Country Club.
Oh my God! And Bill Ellington.
And Bill Ellington.
Yeah, that was a place that all the groups used to go to.
Because of you are the reason why we were all there.
Yeah, true.
You sponsored those events. Without you, we would not have been there.
True. I mean, I did. Well, yeah, I go along with that.
So Jose, I'm gonna get back to Jamaica, but Ty, you said your first gig that you really promoted that worked out was that Monday night
Interpretation of the Stars.
Interpretation of the Stars. Do you remember what year it was?
That's Coliseum.
Yeah, Coliseum over there by VCU, right?
No, right on the corner. No. Church. It's church right there. It's still there. Coliseum's still there. It's a church. First enclave. Time they took the church and turned it into the Coliseum because we had the balcony all upstairs and everything. You know, it was out of sight, man. And
wow.
I remember Freddie Thompson telling me years ago, before he passed, about him and Joe Carter and y'all dancing down there at Coliseum.
That's right, baby.
Good talent night.
That's right. Joe was a good dancer. I remember that.
Oh yeah, me and Joe's have contest danced against each other. You know.
Jose, do you ever tell anybody how old you are? I did not ask him to tell us how old he was. I asked him, does he tell anybody how old he is?
In this conversation with the three of us, I may not be the oldest guy here this time.
I guarantee you're not the oldest one this time.
No, you're not. I don't know how old. I might be 10 years older than you. I don't know.
I'll go back with you a long ways.
Yep.
I would guess that you're really only about 3 years older than me. I would put you at about 75 or 76.
No, baby.
the brother looked good. He could do a GQ commercial right now.
Right.
I'm in my 80s. My 80s. 83.
Oh, okay.
83. Okay.
We
I
guessed
still find that hard to believe.
you were no more than 85 max. But everybody says, but he looks good and he's still sharp as a tack.
He has not abused himself. Let's put it that way.
Well, I go along with that now. I go along with that one.
Jose was in the company, the close proximity to a lot of people that did abuse themselves.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
True.
Jose has been in those rooms and did not partake.
He wouldn't be here today if he had done
abuse.
some of the stuff all them other folk did.
Amen.
And Jose, just between you and I, Charles and I both are like you, that we both have had a lot of restraint in our lives as far as doing stuff that our colleagues and friends were doing. So, you know, some of our people would still be here if they had not done some of the stuff they did.
True. I agree. You know,
and did not cover any particular genre of music because it also covered the gospel world as well.
So let me ask you another question, Jose. You had said something about you had worked with Major and helped get Major to Philadelphia also. Are you also of the mind that one of the most talented entertainers ever to come out of Richmond was Sterling Harrison?
Of course.
Anybody after 77 may not know about Sterling.
Right.
And worse than that, they may not know about his brother Al, who also was a powerhouse singer as well. Look, a lot of things happen on the road, Bill, as you well know.
Yeah, I know.
And a lot of times, the guys tend to be out of control. Incidents like that, whether it be driving while you sleep or driving while they're high, or all kinds of things have happened on the road that have destroyed many of the musicians.
Yeah, I know. I've been close to those. God rescued us a couple times. Now, Jose, let's get back to this. The fairgrounds.
Yes, sir.
What were they called again?
Mardi Gras Festival. Yeah.
Because in 1977, we backed up a little girl at the Mardi Gras named Evelyn Champagne King.
Right, baby.
And Trussell was there on the show, the Midnight Star, and all them other groups. Yeah. You had every act there was.
I had everybody on the show. We had everybody. I had, what was it, 26 acts on that show.
Everybody talk about the dysfunction that's going on now. But when the Great Hosea was trying to bring these shows, we were still doing Power to the People, Soul Brother Love, Watch Stacks. We were still having festivals where you could have 75,000 people and not a fight.
Not one fight.
Let me go to another, because Jose, out of all the people, when people talk about Richmond, they have to talk about the Great Hosea.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can talk about Dimensions Unlimited, you can talk about all them other people, but when you come to the city of Richmond, you talk about the Great Hosea.
Yeah.
Jose had the Fresh Festival. He had all the top hip-hop acts in the world. He wasn't just doing it here in Richmond. He also had the same concert, was in Norfolk or Hampton?
Hampton, same time.
In Hampton, at the Coliseum, the same time.
You're responsible for not only the R&B acts that appeared predominantly in Richmond during a lot of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You also did the gospel acts. You also did a little bit of the jazz stuff, the hip-hop stuff as well. And a little bit of the rock and roll stuff.
And plays. Don't forget that.
The plays, yes. Because a lot of the plays came by way of the gospel world from the churches and stuff. But let me ask this. Why the diversity? What made your interest in the diversity? Because the other promoters stuck to one genre, and you diversified quite a bit.
Well, I mean, you got to look where I came from. I came from the churches, so it would be hard for me to see gospel groups performing and not want to participate in it. My sister, Henrietta, she always felt that she was a gospel promoter of gospels in this town. So when I came up and started doing shows, a little friction went down, brother going against sister, but that wasn't what it was. I didn't pay no mind what she did. But the gospel world was one thing that I loved because that's where I came from. And then when I started doing, like I said, the R&B acts, automatically the jazz group came right up in there, you know what I mean? And then some of the rock and roll groups, man. I mean, when you sit there and you get Sam Cooke and all those guys, man, come on. I mean, it was big. It was big back there.
We just believe you are one of the people that ties in that whole series of years because you still doing it. And like Charles and I always talk about the fact that we're still around, we're still doing technology, we're still doing music,
Right.
we're still participating. Again, it goes back to that living a clean life, living a clean, not taking care of yourself, not abusing your body,
Not burning bridges with people
not
either.
burning bridges, trying to be a decent human being. We said on a meeting when we were talking, Charles and I, that we have never heard anybody accuse you of doing anything underhanded. And we said, as a promoter, that's a hell of a testimony.
But I can say, in all honesty, nothing but total respect and love for Jose, because he's always been an up and up brother. And I think the reason is his foundation, his roots. Because he came up through the church and because he had that connection and he maintained that openness with his connection with the church in concerts or the plays and appreciation for the jazz and R&B and the rock. See, that's the diversity that goes into the making of a person.
So, Jose, we're going to wrap this up by just saying thank you. Thank you for being the person that you are and for being a part of the history of the Richmond music scene. I mean, seriously, a whole lot of groups in this area and a lot of groups from outside this area owe a debt of gratitude from you, because guess what? And I'm going to say this to you before, and Charles and I talked about this, and Charles probably the same thing. It's one thing in the music business I ain't never want to do, and that's your job. I ain't never want to be a promoter. A promoter is a whole different animal.
It is.
You know, it's a different animal.
Indeed.
You're right. It makes
I've done my fair share promoting some events. So, and you win one and you lose about 6 in a row thereafter.
There you go. Now you got it.
Jose is a pro and a straightforward honesty about it. You know, he's straight up. I give him nothing but total respect.
Jose, do us a favor before we close out.
Yeah, baby.
Think back in your life and just call out some names of people that aren't here anymore that were important to the music business here in Richmond. I mentioned to you earlier Joe Carter.
I want to mention Carlton Robinson.
Well, it's hard for me to give you the names of all these guys because I haven't been keeping up with them. But a lot of them gone. I know they're gone. That's the guys like Jimmy and the lawyer and all those people, and Al Knight and all those people that I was real close to. I mean,
right. Well, I got to mention Bill Jones too, Jose.
Oh my God.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing but respect.
He had all the respect in the world from everybody.
Yes. But all other clubs we named, all other spots we named, fine. But Sahara Club, Ebony Island, Cozy Cat, that was the premier spot.
We remember when it was a bowling alley.
Yes, we do.
Now that just tells you how old we are.
We do.
Jose, thank you, man.
Jose. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being you. You gave place to a lot of those bands who had never been on stage if it were not for you.
Y'all forgot but Mac Harris and Low Walter, Bonneville and all that.
The Bonnevilles.
We haven't forgotten about. We also talked about Stacey Henry in the Majestic, not Stacey.
Yeah.
Stacey Henry.
Mike Harris and the Pills.
We talk about Sterling Harrison.
Yeah.
And we took it back even before that great group Ujima. Tommy Edwards from out in Henrico, who all in the game called Love. The first #1 hit by a black man in the Billboard Hot 100 was Tommy Edwards from Richmond. Now, you know who else we didn't mention, Jose, that you would have known well, which was Basie and Melvin Wawa Reagan.
Melvin Watson, he would know too, but he would know Reagan with Jerome Braley and Basie.
And Donna Hathaway.
He was booking Jerome Braley when he had the Chamber Brothers and the Five Steps.
We appreciate you.
Oh, thank the Lord, we're still here.
We appreciate you.
A lot of brothers gone, a lot of young ladies
Yes,
gone.
sir. Yes, sir.
God
Thank you, Jose.
All right, baby. Y'all be
Thank
good.
you, man. Appreciate you. Love you.
Do you want a job?
But while I'm there, I guess I put in a job application with Jose too.